One little tip, when you're doing rotary hook timing and you're doing it by yourself, you don't want the indicator wheel coming off of 200 degrees. So what you may want to do is take your smallest screwdriver and simply wedge it, as in this illustration, to hold it in place. That way, as you're working around the rotary hook itself, the indicator wheel will not be coming off the 200 degree mark. To install the new rotary hook, you simply take your rotary hook assembly, place it over the main shaft. And this is a little easier if you can do this with two people. Make sure your screws are loose enough so that this will slide on the shaft cleanly. So the first thing we want to do is kind of set the rotary hook in place once it's on the main shaft. So while holding the rotary hook, if you have a second person, rotate the main indicator wheel to 200 degrees. Okay. Now what you want to do is you want to gently tighten the set screw on the side, just to kind of hold the hook in place for a moment. Now rotate the wheel to 160 degrees. Gently tighten that set screw a little bit. Don't make these screws tight. We want to be able to shift this rotary hook. We're just setting the screws a little bit so that it's not going to spin freely. And lastly, turn your indicator wheel to 100 degrees. And gently tighten that screw. Again, don't tighten on it though, you just want to hold the rotary hook assembly in place. Now bring the dial back to 200 degrees. While the indicator wheel is at 200 degrees, you want to install the rotary hook support. Simply pull the rotary hook support into position. You want to make sure that the little finger that sticks out of the rotary hook support is in place, holding the basket in place. What that actually does is that prevents this part here from spinning. So we're going to grab our screw. And we're going to put this in here. And you want to make sure at this point in time that the rotary hook is approximately where it needs to be, right behind the needle, so that you can adjust the support properly. This support can shift in and out a little bit, and the reason for that is because that's actually what winds up holding your bobbin thread upon trimming. We need to make sure that there is a slight space in between the support and the basket. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to simply take a needle and put it in between to make sure that we have enough space and then tighten it. Then come to the other side and tighten it. And I didn't snug it all the way down, I just have it so that it's holding it, because now I want to make sure that this is not going to spin. Okay, it's not letting this spin freely. However, the spacing looks just a tiny bit too far, so I'm going to loosen this up again, and I'm going to move it back just oh so slightly. making sure that I leave the gap in there for my bobbin thread to come through. Now I'm going to tighten this down. Now we need to time the rotary hook. It's preferred on a single head machine like the 1501 to be around 199 to 201, preferably right at 200 to set the hook timing, and that's where the indicator wheel on the back of the machine is at 200.